Juggernaut, like...
The hero that we've been seeing Vorce play a little bit, the Slardar. I mean, we talk about the Slardar SF combination.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a Dazzle, so you've already got someone else that's going to be able to help you with the physical DPS with the ultimate. And Vorce Slardar's games have been pretty impressive.
Yeah, the Slardar definitely works here. I mean, Weave plus Amplified Damage, you already got your combo going there, so they don't need the SF to be able to get that minus armor stacking. I definitely think it's good. I mean, that's the thing about Navi's lineup, is they've actually picked such a flexible support core that you can run pretty much anything you want. It just depends on what your actual game plan is. If you want that initiation, then picking a Slardar is going to be fantastic. If you want a frontline hero who basically can't die, then you can go back and pick something like a Wraith King or, you know, your Lifestealer and you farm him.
We've seen it being played... Okay.
Oh, all
I
right.
wasn't going to call that Lycan is going to be the option here for Na'Vi.
This is really good too. It's for the same reason that like heroes like Ursa are good. You can abuse Roshan with it. It's very good at pushing. And when you have Puck, you have this certain timing window inside of the game where you have to be able to fight before BKBs become too prevalent on complexity. And we'll see what their core pick is going to be here in just a second. But the Lycan actually pushes at such an early stage, and he offers so much physical damage that being able to like annihilate a tombstone or just chase people down with a BKB and a book. Complexity really do not have an answer to that right now. They have absolutely no direct answer for Lycan. They need something that hits hard and hits fast if they want to be able to deal with him in the mid game.
So I mean, for this final pick now, we are still looking for, well, Complexity's position one here. As they're ticking down here into the bonus time, 15 seconds left for them to make their decision. What's it going to be? We're going to see something fun, something exciting to be picked up by the boys. Now they're taking their time here.
5 seconds.
It's going to be a very, very important pick here for the team. And it's going to be Naga.
This is really high risk, high reward.
If Na'Vi get the flow going and they start pushing and Complexity can't stop, it's going to be very hard for Zizzy to carry this through to the late game.
He's going to have to channel his inner KP Naga or Miracle Naga or something like that, you know? Or Arteezy, I guess. Pick your poison, right? They're all very, very good Naga players. And I'm looking at Navi's lineup right now, and I'm thinking to myself, how do they stop the Lycan? What on Complexity's team can deal with him? They're going to have to throw all the burst on him. Like, they're going to have to Tusk combo him. Lena's going to have to stun, and Crystal Maiden as well. The Ensnare is nice. Once Lycan gets BKB going, you can just throw it on him, and then he sits in wolf form, pretty much, and he's not able to really do anything. And I think that's also part of the reason why they wanted it. The other thing, too, is you can always just song to delay. So when he pops Shapeshift, it doesn't last that long, right?
That's true.
So you can just pop your ulti, kind of bait out the ultimate, and then eventually when it wears off, you can maybe look to just chase, or maybe they just run, and then you don't have to worry about getting pushed in too much. But Na'Vi, I still think their lineup has the potential to win this game before the Naga becomes too much of an issue.
Prepare for battle.
Well, let's see how this one goes down. And indeed, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, this is the first game of the day here and the second day of group stages for the International 2015. Complexity versus Na'Vi, and of course, once again, a two-game series. Let's see how they fare into this one. On the side of Na'Vi, it is going to, of course, be Funnick on that offlane shaker. We're going to have Seneko on his signature Wyvern. Artstar this time on the Dazzle. Dendi back on the Puck. Bottom lane, that position one will be your Havorst Lycan. It's myself, ODPixel, and Draskell. What are we seeing from Complexity? Pretty much what we've expected coming into this game.
Yeah, it's you know, Z-Freak playing on Tusk. Behind him is going to see Moon on that Undying, and we're going to see Ziz handling Naga. Melon's playing Lena, I think, for the second time that we've had a chance to see. Fly handling that Crystal Maiden. And this is pretty standard Complexity. They always like to go to the enemy jungle at the start of the game, get some vision going, drop some wards to block the camp, just make sure they can scout out whatever information possible before the creeps actually spawn. Whereas Na'Vi, I think they know what kind of position they're in just based on draft. They say, okay, as long as we don't like totally fumble the laning phase, and we get to, you know, Lycan gets a Vlad's, gets a book going, gets like that BKB, I think they're going to be in really good shape.
Let's see how it fares up. Yeah, the early laning stage is going to be absolutely key for both teams, especially Na'Vi. As you said, if they want to get that momentum going, I mean, already Mumianda kind of positioning himself towards here, just scouting out, seeing who's going to make a move from Na'Vi towards the jungle. And Swindle has got Fly there, getting the block in for him. And Fly will probably, as we were expecting, use the jungle, and at the same time try and help the Naga in lane. But Zizzy should be okay, I'd imagine, against an offlane Earthshaker.
It's not too bad. I mean, this 1v1, it depends on how the Shaker skills. I think Fly is going to be spending most of his time in the jungle, And then if he wants to come back and like deal with Funnick in lane, he can definitely do that. But if you're in a 1v1 against a melee hero, sometimes you're better off putting like 1 or 2 value points into enchant early just to ensure that you can freely CS. But Ziz comes to lane with a ton of regen. He's got 2 sets of tangos and a healing salve. So there is not a very high chance they're going to be able to push him out.
And yeah, I think both position ones are going to be able to farm pretty safely, especially with, of course, being backed up by Artstyle here on the Dazzle. Meander coming in with a freak. Now Artstyle's actually trapped up here. He's going to have a heal in a second, but it might not be enough. Yeah, he's going to go down there. First blood to Zafreak as Artstyle just caught out of place, out of position. And that's not what you want to be doing, especially in a lane as aggressive as Tusk and Undying. If they start to get the momentum, it's going to be harder and harder for Vorst to keep himself in this lane.
Artstyle just needs to hit level 2 or 3. Like, being level 1, not having Grave, you pretty much just get run down. Like, Undying is a very fast hero, and because of that first blood, Zfreak also manages to secure himself boots. So if they want to continue to run him down, they can. I think Seneko will probably just sit here now and make sure that that doesn't happen again. Like, sure, giving away the first kill, it's great. That complexity to get their off lane to a start like that, but there's a lot more to this lane than just getting 1 kill, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, looking towards the mid lane at the moment, Dendi having a pretty nice time. Yeah, he's 9 for 3 at the moment on the puck compared to the 7 for 0 with that slight edge. So I think for that reason as well, you know, Seneko realizing that Dendi doesn't really need the help of the Wyvern in the mid lane, and he can afford to sit down here and help the team out against Zafreak and Moon on the bottom lane.
With that Howl, Dendi should be pretty good to go. Every single time you get Howl, you get that bonus damage. It's like 14 right now, I think.
Yeah.
So you can use your phase shift to dodge any of the either Light Strike Rays or Dragon Slaves coming in for CS. And most Lina players, they'll telegraph when they're going to throw it out, right? Like, they'll start hitting a creep to get it lower, and then it'll be very obvious that it's going to be flying out. And because Dendi is known for playing puck, like, this is one of the first heroes that he was truly said to be, like, one of the best in the world on. I'm pretty sure he'll do more than okay.
It's certainly looking good for the man so far. Bottom lane, Artstyle's just coming out again, still just trying to disrupt Havorst's farm. At the moment, both Havorst and, of course, Dizzy at the moment on the Naga sitting pretty equal in terms of CS, so both having similar levels of difficulty in their lanes. And well, the fact that they've got 2 laners down here, you know, obviously the XP is going to be shared. You know, we look at the side of Na'Vi, Funnick is going to be able to soak up that solo XP. But of course, Complexity do have Fly in the jungle, and he's doing pretty well. He's doing fine already. He's about to hit level 3 here, this pool that he'll be able to get off. So all in all, things looking pretty balanced across the map at the moment, but just still this mid lane where Dendi is looking pretty strong, especially with those tender knives as well here.
He's doing incredibly well, actually. It's a hero we don't really get a chance to see a whole heck of a lot anymore, just because a lot of other heroes just seem to outshine him in terms of what he brings to the table. And his timing, oh, did he just miss salve?
I think he did, I heard a salve.
He definitely just missed salve. That actually hurts a lot.
Oh,
okay, he needs to base. I think sitting here now is way too dangerous. He's just going to go back.
Which is, I mean, this is going to be pretty big for Swindlemelons. He's going to be able to get to the point where he's going to be able to close that gap that Dendi created. Indeed, there's a bit of a wraparound here. The Tombstone has been dropped here. Moon getting up the decays here, but now he's got to be on the run. Artstyle and Seneko just been able to harass him back. So just a bit of excitement there between the sides. Nothing too much to come of it, though.
One thing to keep in mind here is that Funnick is still getting quite a bit out of his early laning phase. And even though we talk at length about Seneko and his Shaker, Funnick is not a bad Earthshaker either, so...
He's looking for Fly here as well. He's got a Fisher. He's going to have another Enchant Totem. He can't quite get around here because of the trees, and the Fisher actually making him go the long way round. He's going to still go for it, though, with a Haste Rune here, trying to get the slaps in onto Fly. He's going to have another Enchant Totem. He's going to go for it. He's not going to dive that deep, though. And now Zizzy and Fly, they're trying to actually turn this one around. Funnick getting low here. The Haste Rune's run out. He has got the Fisher. Fly getting held back as well. No, he's going to be fine. Funnick here with the bottle charge. Just enough to keep him safe, but still on both lanes, the bottom and the top, a lot of action happening. But no one really dying, just that 1 kill still on the board for Complexity.
I think he hesitated a tiny bit on the second enchant, like when he was walking up through the lane after Fly had already used a tango. I think he should have been able to land that bottom.
They're going to go in. Here we go. They've dropped the Tombstone. They're diving into Zafreak and Moon. They want to try and find something from it, but already Na'Vi, they've focused the stone and they've taken it down. So now it's Zafreak and Moon Meander that needs to be on the run. Zafreak might even just trying to dive himself into neutrals. No, he's going to eat himself through the trees. It doesn't matter. Wyvern will find the kill here. And now Artstyle with the Shallow Grave. He's going to keep himself 5. Moon won't be able to find that kill. And it might be Moon who becomes the kill here as the Wolves will change him. That looks like he's just fast enough to get himself out, but Na'Vi able to find a kill in return there and bring the scoreboard now to 1-1.
A lot of action in both lanes. Not too many kills happening, but you can tell that both teams realize how important the early laning phase is. They want to make sure that, for instance, Ziz, he gets his farm on, and right now he's climbed back up to the top after Funnick had a pretty decent start. Like, he's still got 18 creep kills. He's more or less even with Moon and his 21 and 3. So all lanes considered, in an even trade, Na'Vi are going to be hitting their stride before Complexity. So for the time being, I would say that Na'Vi are still the ones who are going to be feeling a little bit of that pressure, make sure they can get some towers off the map, take away the map control away from the Naga Siren before she starts to get that Radiance going. And it's still a ways away, but it always has to be in the back of your mind.
Absolutely. Naga just leaving the lane here, of course, running this bottle, grabbing that bounty. Funnick is here, trying to do what he can, stealing those creeps from that side camp. And in the mid lane, Dendy, he's getting frozen up here by Fly. He's actually going to drop the Dream Core here. He's going to look to try and find the kill, and he's going to find it there. In comes Laguna Blade, though. No, he's low. He's going to be fine, though, with that orb sent out. He gets himself nicely away there. And a clean little pick off there onto the CM, who was obviously rotating in, trying to help Swindle Melons find a kill onto Dendy, but vice versa happened.
Yeah, the thing, too, is when you use all your mana like that, you have to pretty much continually bottle through. So now that the ultimate is down, he's going to have to use that maybe 1 or 2 more times. And art style, he's going to get hit by a zombie here. I think he'll be fine. I think Z-Freak is maybe a bit too far away. Once Z-Freak hits 6, I think they kill art style before he's able to use his spell. Because if he gets snowball stunned, when Z-Freak is going the max nuke build with a punch and a couple of hits from the zombie, and Moon is actually maxing the K, by the way. So he's going to be able to just steal ridiculous amounts of strength. And the cooldown at level 4 is 4 seconds. So you can just get non-stop.
Certainly amping up the pressure here on this lane. Fly now rotating towards the bottom lane, so Complexity with the 3 of them here. Mid lane, we're going to see a bit of a wraparound from Dendy and Seneko here with the smoke. They want to try and go for some kind of action here. Oh, the Splinter Blast doesn't quite catch the Lina. Lina's going to be okay. Bottom lane, though, the dive is going to happen. Fly moving in with Moon and Z-Freak. They're looking for a Vorst. Here comes the Snowball. Will it connect? Is it going to be very close? Just on the tip. Catching out her Vorst. Now he's trying to do what he can here with the walls with the blocks, but it doesn't matter. They lose the Lycan here, Na'Vi. And Artstar just hiding in the tree line here as the lane continues to get pushed, and they're going to look for him. Oh, Artstar TP's out. He does not want to be a part of that. TP's himself safely back to the tier 2.
That was a good move. There's no way he can stay there in that situation. Too risky. Now Dendy, he didn't have a TP available, unfortunately. He TP'd back mid, so instead of being able to potentially TP bottom and turn that, he had to kind of just sit around mid, because they smoked up and they wanted to try to kill Swindle, but when he threw that Splinter Blast from Seneko, if he had just gone for an Arctic Burn hit, I think it would have ended up working out a lot better. And they even had a high ground ward, so I'm not really sure why he opted to go for the nuke instead of just going for the guaranteed auto that would have slowed, probably allowed Denny to get in range. But a little bit of mechanical things going on here from Na'Vi, maybe not going as well as they wanted to. But we should also remember that Funnick is almost level 7, and he has a TP. So if there's more diving, you better expect that Shaker's going to be contributing soon.
Absolutely. I mean, we're talking yesterday about the Seneko Shaker, but of course Funnick, he's been on the hero a fair bit as well, and he's known for proving to be quite the player on the Shaker, and so far it seems to be playing up to that. Hasn't lost a single life here in the off lane, and Tranquil's Soul Ring pretty much complete now, 9 minutes in. Bottom lane, Swindle Melons has come down. He has got the Laguna Blade. They might look for a bit of a fight here, Complexity. Just Seneko and Artstyle here down at the moment. The Vorst has kind of been popping around the jungle, looking to make the most of the map. Now the TP's come in, though, and this is going to be Complexity getting themselves the hell out of there. TP coming in from Funnick. He has got this Fissure, which will catch Moon, but now the counter Snowball. They want to try and keep Moon alive. It's going to work. Now, they've actually bursted down Seneko before Artstyle can come out with a Shallow Grave. And a very nice counterplay, but oh, hello. Undying actually dying on the backside because of Vorst coming in with the ultimate, was able to pick off the Dirge. He's going to look for more now as well, trying to chase down Swindle Melons. The Fissure comes in, holding him in place with the Heal Bomb as well, bringing Swindle Melons low. It's actually going to be Na'Vi backing off because the Tombstone doing quite a bit there for Complexity. And the trade does simply end in a 1-for-1. Maybe more though, because the Freak, he could be trapped up here in the tree line. Funnick's found him.
Is he going for Artstyle?
He's got the Snowball here.
Is he going on Funnick?
He's just going straight for Funnick. There's no way he gets out of this one, and yeah, Na'Vi will be able to clean up that kill as well. So they do manage to come out on top there, Na'Vi, taking 2 heroes and only losing 1 themselves. Yeah,
it was a nice rotation, and that's what I was talking about too. There was actually
oh, he wants to go for Swindle here, and what with the stun now? Swindle's got to be careful. He's got that haste rune. Okay, he's out of there. He's A-okay.
Yeah, but we talked about how Funnick was getting a lot of experience from that offlane. You have to expect the offlane to rotate earlier, especially when you're a hero like Shaker, and you're not really being pushed out of EXP range. Like, Funnick is almost level 8 right now. So Fly spent the majority of his early game doing a little bit of farming. He rotated bottom. He wasn't spending the entire early game stopping that Shaker from getting anything done. So even though Ziz continued to farm, it just means that you're making that concession. You're just saying Funnick is going to be higher level. When that's the case, TP reactions are just going to be a thing. So Funnick still making his way towards Blink Dagger. He's got his Soul Ring Tranquils with Bottle finished. And being level 8 means that with his skill build 4-1-2, he can fully stun lock. So with level 1 Aftershock, you actually can't stun lock if you're using Enchant. And even the Fissure cast time, you're going to have like maybe like a quarter of a second to move in between the spells. But now that he has level 2 Aftershock, you can totally stun lock somebody.
Yeah, they're going to go for something here as well. Funnick has got the Echo Slam. They don't have the Dream Coil, but it might not matter here. Zizzy, I can't get the song off.
Ouch.
They're able to fish it just in time. The cast animation was there, but just a little bit too long, and Naga getting taken out. And that's the kind of rotations that Na'Vi are going to be very happy with, shutting down the Naga.
That couldn't have worked out any better, to be honest. They knew exactly where he was, too, though, because the lane is pushing out. When you're playing safe lane like that, and the tier 1 off lane is alive and you're alone, and you know that everyone in the side of Na'Vi have their ultimates available, you pretty much don't push the lane past like the little cobblestone path that you see in the top lane. And it's pretty obvious that if you're not doing that, there's really only one place you can be, and that's inside of the woods. Just unfortunate for Ziz that he happened to be at that camp when they were smoke ganking in, because some of the camps you can probably see it coming, that one you can't.
Mid lane, Star coming out, just trying to hit away the tower. Has got Dendi and Funnick here in the neighborhood. Funnick now, of course, coming up to 900 gold, coming up to halfway towards his Blink Dagger. So looking pretty good, 12 minutes in here for the Shaker. Still though, things pretty even across the map. Just a slight edge for Na'Vi. You look at the net worth, it is Dendi and Havorst at the top of the board at the moment on their Puck and the Lycan. And actually, if we have a look at the difference between the two teams, it is absolutely tiny. It's 1k favor, in fact, in terms of gold for complexity. Na'Vi just 500. It's very much even ground here for both of these teams.
That just means that there's an emphasis on Na'Vi to continually fight. And speaking of fighting, bottom lane, Seneko.
Indeed, going in here with the snowball. Seneko just came out a little bit too far. No one to back him up. And Moon, of course, with that double damage there to rub salt into the wounds of the Wyvern, securing the kill.
The more action and havoc that Moon and Zfreak can create for complexity, the easier it's going to be for Ziz to continue his farm and try to get up to his Radiance as soon as humanly possible. Now, again, we talked about how Na'Vi, they have a very stable lineup, but they need to do something with their Lycan sooner rather than later. Now that Havorsti's almost got his medallion, actually I think he has it. We're going to see a TP here.
Indeed, coming out to the bottom. Moon has dropped the Tombstone here. Dendi with the Waning Rift onto the Undying, and now with the right-click damage from Havorst going in. They've dropped the Dream Coil, which only will catch the Dirge, but it's enough. They actually blow the Echo Slam as well. They really wanted Mumianda dead. They're looking for more now, but Dendi's getting low. He has got the backup of his full team, so he should be able to chase it down. And with the Winter's Curse holding Zfreak in place, they will be able to find the Tusk here as well.
Yeah, no reason not to just drop everything when you know that the only other thing that's happening is your lane getting pushed in and the Naga farming top. You're not really going to go directly into a team fight after this, and that puts Funnick at 1,500 gold, man. He is getting his farm on right now. And
then imagine after that, Dendi's probably got the Blink Dagger gold. Yeah, Blink Dagger has been now complete by the Puck as well, so things looking up for the side of Na'Vi, but at the same time, yeah, I still feel the Naga is a bit of an issue. 3.1k, 14 minutes in. It's not going to be too much of a bad timing here on that Relic if this continues.
That's the most concerning thing right now, is once you get the Radiance, there's like a 15-minute period where you have to kill the Naga or pressure her enough to the point where she can't get to like Yasha, Boots of Travel, or something like that. It's not that the hero is tanky, it's just that catching her out and finding her in a place where she's out of position becomes very difficult.
Dendi's actually TPing in here. He has, of course, got this Invis rune, but he is on his own, so I don't know if he'll be able to do anything with this. There's 10-12 seconds until he has the Dream Coil available as well. Mid lane, Havorst just trying to take a tier 1 of his own. Eyeshell's coming out now with the fortification. Actually, he might need to run away from this, because here we go. Zfreak with the slow, trying to do what he can to hold Havorst in place. It flies well with the spells. But Havorst able to keep himself out of there and alive as Complexity TPing in quite a few heroes here. Everyone moving towards this mid lane. And they might look to try and push back and get a tower of their own. And Zizzy just 200 gold away from that Relic.
Now, if that's stun landed, by the way, from Swindle, that would have been a very dead Lycan, and it's unfortunate because I think he just had enough money to finish his Yules right now. I believe it's being sent out to him on the courier, but Complexity, they're looking to counter pressure. They have almost every single person on their team here in mid, of course, outside of Ziz, who's still continually farming. But I really like the way the Complexity are playing this. They're not just sitting back and trying to play defensive around the Naga. They're forcing the issue when they have Tusk Undying and Alina, all very good early game heroes, to ensure that Ziz is never the recipient of that pressure. They're always trying to throw a punch, so Na'Vi can't just invade the jungle.
And there we go. Moon, he's ready to go. Drops the tombstone down. Zafreek here on the sideline, maybe looking to go, but the Dreamcast actually called out both Moon and Zafreek. As they stand here to the side, Mumianti getting low, he's going to soul rip himself, and now with the Fishy, he might go down, yes, with the Winter's Curse as well, nothing that he can do to keep himself alive. They lose the Undying, they do still have the Tombstone up doing work. Funnick with the Echo Slam, getting Fly and Swindle, and there's Dendi with the follow-up. 3 heroes down on the side of Complexity. Complexity maybe were looking for that counter-aggression, but it is Na'Vi with the counter-aggression, taking them down in the mid lane.
That fissure that Funnick just threw out there, that was okay inside of the woods here. See if Freak can be throwing out a punch. I'm not sure if he is going to be able to walk away from. Oh, he turns back. Okay, that was weird. The rest of Na'Vi are on the way. I'm not sure if he makes it out of this one.
As Zafreek could be in try, he blocks himself. Oh no, disaster here for Zafreek. He's going to pop the snowball. Where's he going to go? He's going to go that way to the creeps. Can he deny himself? Oh no, he can't. Not with a fissure up his backside. There we go. Funnick takes the kill. And that is going to be that, but yet another kill. So essentially, over that last minute, 4 heroes being taken away from the side of Complexity. Now, it is, of course, drawing the attention away from Naga, who has got the relic complete. But let's see what Na'Vi can do here with this momentum and with this push on the bottom lane.
Oh, they'll get the tower for sure. There most likely is going to be a glyph used, but I don't know if they can fight without the Naga, because the Naga had to use Song. So the fact that she had to use Song means that trying to defend a tower, and still, again, no Radiance just yet. It's not that his timing is slow, it's just that Na'Vi realized this is their timing. This is when the Lycan has almost the book completed, has the Medallion, the Vlad's is up. All they have to do is push a couple of towers and then secure Roche. That's when your team starts to become a powerhouse in terms of being able to break high ground, or at the very least, assume total map control. So Complexity, they're kind of frantic right now. They're looking to try to make something happen. They have smoked up at least on 2. And I'm not sure if Na'Vi are going to stick around long enough. And oh man,
they want to get this Naga.
This is the smoke TP.
They need to get the Naga.
The real one's there. They know Song is down.
If they can get Zizzy here, this is going to be absolutely massive. They've got the blink on Funnick, the blink on Dendi. Zizzy now starting to back up though through the jungle. Are they going to chase this Na'Vi? Looks like they want blood. They want this Naga dead. They're not happy with the progression Zizzy's been having so far.
They see him. They definitely see him.
Funnick should be able to catch this one out. Leading the way. Here we go.
Smoke.
Dendi drops the Dream Coil. Zizzy, here we go. Funnick and Chanto, they're dead. He's dead. Nowhere for the Naga to run, nowhere for her to hide. And Na'Vi pretty much doing exactly what they need to be doing 18 minutes in. They got the push off in the bottom lane, and on top of that, they were able to kill the Naga.
And he dies again before the Radiance is actually up, so he loses like 250 gold there, I think, give or take. And every time that they set him back from having that Radiance, that's just more time that Na'Vi have to do whatever they want on the map. Like, they're going to probably push into this tier 1. The glyph is not going to be available. They used the glyph a little bit earlier, I think, when they were trying to defend the tier 2. So, that being said, losing these towers...
Bottom lane, Funnick straight in with the Echo. He wants to kill Swindle, and he's going to get away with it as well. Dominating kill streak now for the Earthshaker. And Swindle is blown the heck up.
And this is kind of the risk that you run when you pick a hero like Naga, seeing that Na'Vi have already picked Lycan. Like, you know, there's no way that Complexity thought that Na'Vi were going to give them space, right? Like, when you pick Naga into a team with a Lycan and a very solid laning phase and high sustain, you have to assume that you're just going to get pushed very hard. And Complexity, I think, had the right mentality and how they wanted to play the game. It's just when Funnick has such a good early game, like, how impactful has he been this game? He kills Moon when they're pushing tier 1 before he's able to pop his mech. Then he gets an Echo on 2 that secures a mid and another support kill on top of that, so they kill 3. And then there was another Echo that just solo kills the mid again, and he helped kill Ziz twice. Like, Funnick's impact in this game has been phenomenal.
Absolutely, yeah. 4 kills, 6 assists, hasn't died a single time here, this Shaker. It's been pretty impressive. Of course, Dendi as well. Not that we expected anything less when we saw him pick up the puck. 5 kills, 4 assists. No one on the side of Complexity has been able to kill this man yet.
The last line of defense, I feel, for Complexity is just... They need... Like, 2 things need to happen. They need to win, like, a tier 2 fight or a high ground fight, or they somehow need to stop Na'Vi from doing Roshan. Because if Havos gets that Aegis up, already having that book, I think he's about, like, 600 gold away from book 2. If he gets book 3 before Naga has, like, anything but Radiance, they're not going to be able to stop that because the illusions are actually just too weak at that point. They don't have enough health. So the spam from Na'Vi is going to be able to just kill them straight away, and they won't have time to counter push. Like, you probably won't even be able to use their illusions to deep push the lane that Na'Vi are in. You'll have to send them somewhere else. Try to push the lanes out that way. But Ziz, he's got the Radiance completed. It's 20 minutes in. Havol secures himself an Aegis. And now the pressure is really on Complexity. Like, they need Na'Vi to basically screw up.
Indeed, and Na'Vi, well, they're actually going to smoke up here. Maybe see if they can catch anyone out that may come to defend this tower. Havorst revealing himself. The rest of the team actually going to go for a bit of a wraparound here. Maybe seeing if they catch anyone on the sidelines looking to jump Havorst. Complexity, in fact, they look like they don't want to be any part of this here. They're going to kind of let this tower go. They're not going to try and defend this one. Na'Vi just waiting to see if anyone rotates across from the other side of the map, but it's not going to be the case. We see Swindlemelons pushing down the mid lane as the creep wave momentum actually gratefully favouring the side of Complexity. He's going to be able to get a bit of damage onto the tier 2 mid, but the bottom tier 2, of course, Na'Vi have been able to take it down. Now with a full 5-man here, and of course that Aegis onto Havorst. They're almost certainly going to look for more, and here we go, up to the high ground onto the tier 3. Where is your answer? Oh, hang on, Fuddy! What? He jumped straight in there, and he's already found 2 of them. The fight already off a fantastic start for Na'Vi. Forces himself away from Zafreak here on this Tusk. What a pick off that. I mean, Buyback's going to come from undone, but Swindlemelon's going to get taken down here. Double kill for Seneko. They're starting to hit the tier 3, and is going to go down there onto the open racks now, 22 minutes in. Swindlemelons is going to buy back as well. Okay, Zizzy trying to set something up here with the song. What can they achieve here? Moon drops the tombstone and now the flesh golem as well. Here onto Funnick. Havorst getting lower, so Seneko kept alive here by the shallow grave. And Havorst, he's been caught embraced of Seneko doing the job that we know him for, keeping Havorst alive. Now Havorst will go down. The Aegis is gone. They have already lost Dendy here on the side. But can Havorst get himself away here? He's already used the ultimate. He's not going to be able to run. He's not going to be able to hide. He is going to go down here for the second time. They get the Havorst. They'll get the Funnick as well. The defense is successful. It did cost them 2 buybacks, but they do keep the racks pretty much intact, and the rest of Na'Vi are just getting the hell out of there.
Well worth it. Absolutely worth the buybacks from Complexity. That was a fight that they needed, and they needed it so bad, because when Funnick goes in, he echoes on 2. Complexity say, okay, there's no Shaker ultimate. If we have buybacks, we have 5 heroes, we can use the song to set up a tombstone, and then we can try to fight around that. Funnick, I think he was trying to fissure in a way that would put Havorst on the other side, but he actually just ended up killing him because Fly just annihilated Lycan with him being stuck on the wrong side of the fissure. Like, he had no retreat path, and unfortunately at that point, I don't think Funnick's 4-step was actually up, either that or Havorst just wasn't facing in the right direction. So if that fight didn't go that well for Complexity, they would have gotten racks, and this game would have been very, very out of hand. But they got a lot of really important kills, huge golden experience swing going the way of Complexity, and the nice thing about it for them is that Ziz was actually there for that. So he makes like 2,000 gold out of that entire exchange, which means he can go for his boots of travel here in like 1 or 2 creeps.
And that was pretty big indeed for Complexity. Let's see what they can do with it, Swindlemelons. Seneko has found him, Funnick's found him as well, and this is the Lina going down, and that of course is going to be essentially a dieback now. The extended 60 seconds here off the map.
Yeah, but they also take Dendy out in top lane, so it wasn't for nothing, a 1-for-1 trade. If Complexity can find even trades like that, it's always going to be worth it for them, because Na'Vi's heroes are just simply worth more money. If you look at the trade, like, they got, what, 1,500 gold and 1,500 experience, if you want to include both hero kills. So that's like, that's pretty lopsided, and it's just, again, because Na'Vi were very far ahead at one point, and that one base defense alone has pretty much cut their lead in half.
Big stuff indeed, Zizzy. He's going to actually, well, Funnick with the wraparound here has this Invis rune. They're trying to find him. Artstar just dropping the weave here. Trying to get the vision onto the Naga, but Naga, he's going to be able to TP himself away. And indeed, yeah, with that gold, picks up the completed boots to travel as well. So he's going to be all over the map, and now it gets to the point where we can expect to see Zizzy do what he can here with the illusions to control the jungle and to also keep the lanes constantly pushed in against Na'Vi.
Once he gets up to Yasha, we can start looking towards the Octarine core, and that's when it really gets out of hand, right? Like, it's not until those items are all complete to where you start looking at Naga and saying, okay, now we got a problem. The other thing, too, that's nice about Complexity is Moon is building all the support items. So he's got Mech, he's got Arcanes, he's going Pipe. When he gets that Pipe finished, then the combination is not going to be that scary. You're going to have something to deal with the Echo Slam, whereas previously they didn't. They just took a full Echo and it just pretty much annihilated the entire team. The other thing, too, is Z-Freak. He's managed to accrue quite a large amount of gold. Like, he's got 3.3k and a Blink Dagger at this point. So it's starting to be like Complexity aren't relying solely on the Naga. The other heroes on the team are starting to develop and have enough farm to where they can fight on their own 2 feet. They don't have to rely on Ziz being there with a song to be able to set something up. I mean, obviously, it's still good to do that, but they're not 100% reliant on it anymore.
Absolutely not. Na'Vi, they're going to look to continue with what they're best at with this lineup, pushing towers. That's the tier 2 here in the mid lane. Top lane is getting pushed in here by Moon Meander. Let's see if Na'Vi try and force back the TPs. They're going to head actually towards the bottom lane instead here, looking to go for these exposed racks. What can Complexity do to stop it? They've got the song, they've got all 5 ultimates available here for this defense. Na'Vi just timidly going up to the high ground here now. ZZ here with the song. They're incredibly grouped up here. What can Complexity do about this? Let's see what kind of combo they can get off. Swinner here with a light strike. It's going to catch him, and now with the snowball onto Heartstyle, but the Fisher from Funnick and the Echo Slam coming out, blowing up one. It is a double kill there for Fly. Got an incredible freezing field off, and now it's Na'Vi that need to get themselves the hell out of there. Funnick force-starving himself away to Freak with the Blink, trying to chase down the Earthquake. But Dandy getting himself out to the west. Funnick trapped up by the Ice Jars. Triple kill for Fly. This man is an absolute beast on Crystal Maiden. We saw him do it yesterday, and this game, the defensive capabilities with those kind of freezing fields are insane, and the racks yet again remain intact.
So I want to say a few things about that song, right? It had 2 of the supports within such a range of each other that when they went in, the first thing that happened is Moon lands a decay on 2. Seneko gets blinked on in the back and immediately Walrus Punch before he can throw out any curse. Then Z-Freak goes straight into Snowball, stuns both supports. Instead of just using it on Seneko, he uses it on Artstyle, so Artstyle can't grave him, and then he just immediately dies. So like the curse came out, but it was already at a point where it didn't really matter. And then you were already down 2 heroes because Artstyle couldn't grave, he ended up dying. Seneko, he got his ult off, but it was a little bit too late. He died. By that point, you're already down 2 heroes. And then, sure, the Echo came out from Funnick, but it just wasn't impactful enough. So the way they started that fight was perfect. Like, they knew exactly their priority targets, and they killed them before they were able to have any real influence.
I mean, this is Complexity playing at the top of the game. I mean, we saw Na'Vi with that, but they knew that this was going to happen. We saw them. They were trying to be as careful as possible with their positioning, going up to the high ground, but still, Zizzy was able to find that opening there with the song. And this is troubling for Na'Vi with this kind of lineup. You know, we're getting to the 30-minute portion of the game. If you can't break the racks, Naga's just going to get scarier and scarier. We already see she's just 1,000 behind the net worth of her Vorst. And once she gets on top of the Lycan, I don't think Lycan's going to be catching up.
Yeah, you're not really going to outfarm a Naga Siren as Lycan. The way that you get gold on that hero is just by pushing. Like, you don't really... You can still farm if you want to. It's not that he has bad CS or anything. He's actually higher CS than Naga.
He's just not scared of any... Look where he is. He is all on his own. Seneko and Artstyle here. Fly. I mean, maybe a little bit too... Oh.
Wait, what?
Is he... No.
Okay, they thought it was real. I think they thought the Naga Siren was real.
Oh, well. Fly is going to be very happy with ZZ's micro there.
He's got 3k gold. Spend some money, dude. Buy an item.
Mate, he's just hollering the dollaring. He's... there we go. So
Saving it for a rainy day. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the best choice he can make right now.
I mean, with the BKB, there's literally no way... I guess with the Dream Coil stun?
No, Dream Coil doesn't stun BKB. It only stuns if you have eggs and you walk out of it.
That's right. Yeah, not the cast.
And then the curse goes through BKB.
The Winter's Curse.
They're not going to use it on CM. Like, I think it's much more likely they would put it on Swindle, like they've been doing, or they put it on Ziz if he's there.
And we're 18 to 12 at the moment, Na'Vi. Let's have a look at the graph. How much is it slipping away? Quite a bit. I mean, this graph is pretty much TI5 group stages all over. We've seen this happening a lot. These swings kind of come out. When Na'Vi were able to build it up to about the 8,000, but now back down to a very close matchup here between these two sides. And in a game where Complexity, I reckon they're going to be feeling quite comfortable with the way they brought this one back round.
They're going to be happy. There's no doubt about that. Like, the early portions of the game did not look very promising. Like, they were losing their middle lane, they were losing bottom lane, even after they got 1 kill. Top lane, Funnick was getting a lot. Like, Funnick is still very farmed, considering the circumstances. It's just, the Naga Siren will become such a huge factor in the game that having your offlane with more farm isn't going to really matter that much anymore when the Naga gets to like the next item. So Octarine is most likely going to be the choice. Once that comes out, your lanes are going to push in even more, and we can see how influential that already is. Like bottom lane is just being pushed non-stop. He's sending out more illusions right now. The other two lanes are barely across the river. Every time the illusions go down a lane, it's just like shoved into a tier 2. So Na'Vi now are at that stage where the Naga is almost in full effect. And when that's the case, suddenly you have to start playing differently. You have to start addressing the push. You have to start trying to smoke to find the Naga. And that becomes more and more difficult because the room that you get from pushing out those lanes also lets you get more kills.
Dendi has found Fly here with the Yule Scepter, trying to go in. Hervorce popping the ultimate. Dreamcoat dropped on Fly. They want this Crystal Maiden dead, but Zizzy here with the song allows Fly to get himself to safety. Zizzy as well as they do disengage. And yet again, Fly kind of taunting Na'Vi. We've seen him just walk in front of him and go, "Come and get me, boys," but he's out there every time, thanks to the Narca Siren.
It's really frustrating at this stage in the game. The one icing on the cake, though, is that since they TP'd away, they know that they can go for Roche, and the Naga Siren Song was only level 2. So instead of it only being a 60-second cooldown, potentially could have been up for this fight. It's not going to be the case. This should be, I believe, a Havos Aegis. And he does have, I think, BKB and Book 3 now.
BKB is on the curry, yes.
Yeah, he's got to be able to send out to himself. So this is pretty much when Lycan is going to be about the strongest relative to what Complexity has in terms of farm. Like, sure, you can get AC, you can get Abyssal Blade, and that does make you stronger, but it's about how fast you farm it versus how fast the enemy team is farming too. And right now, this might be one of the best chances that Na'Vi are going to have left to actually deal some real base damage. Because once Ziz gets that next item, it's going to be really hard for them.
Yeah, sitting on 2.5k gold now in his bank, and we were talking about it earlier, how was Zafreak sting, and still he's about to find himself potentially killing. Now Arstov's got the grave here, and Zafreak decides to team himself away, but Dendi's there with the Yule Scepter. Okay, might have just jinxed this one. Zafreak is going to give away his life here on the top lane, down for 60 seconds. And bottom lane as well, Hervorce going in with Seneko here with the Winter's Curse onto Moon Meander. That's a second pick off across the map. Maybe looking for more. Zizzy there. You're always going to actually just throw the net out to Hervorce, and that's going to be enough to scare Na'Vi away from going for more. Now it's actually going to be Swindlemelons looking to turn this one around here with the Yule Scepter onto Hervorce, but Hervorce popped the BKB, and now it's going to be him. The big bad wolf coming up to Lina. Will be able to find the kill onto Lina. Fly coming in. ZZ looking for the TP out. There's not going to be enough damage to bring down the Naga. Naga will escape. But as we say, you know, Complexity looking suddenly 3 heroes down. And when you lose heroes against this lineup the Na'Vi have, you're in a lot of danger of losing structures as well.
The problem right now is that 2 heroes don't have buybacks, so Twindle can buy himself out, but the racks are exposed. So he buys back right away, realizing that he needs to try to make Na'Vi less wanting to push. Like, they don't want to let them just walk up high ground and be like, oh yeah, we get this for free. Fortunately, the support resurrection timers are so short that they're not going to feel comfortable doing this, and they might just try to go for the tier 2 top or something like that. But still, very good picks. And when you kill heroes like that, and you force the Naga to TP back to base, the equilibrium starts to go back in your favor. So you can see, like, bottom lane Ziz, they're now trying to push it back out. But top and mid, they're almost at Complexity's doorstep. Every single time you force Ziz out of a position like that, you're going to regain the map control. And that's one thing you can do outside of just straight up killing the hero to ensure that you're not just being consistently pushed in. Sometimes, well, a lot of the time in Dota, the best defense is a good offense.
Indeed, now we're going to look to try and take down this final tier 2 here, away from the side of Complexity. And it looks like they're going to be able to do that with no issue at all, as Complexity actually just moving themselves away from this top lane. And Na'Vi, well, what's the plan? They're going to try and go for a high ground push. We've seen them try and do it before. And in a similar situation where Complexity had all the ultimates available, and they do so yet again. So let's see what they can do to stop Na'Vi this time here. Forced the charge here at the moment. They're just trying to keep themselves spread out here. They don't want to be caught out by the wombo combo like they were last time. Let's see how dropping the tombstone. Ice charge is going to trap Hervorce as well. See, I'm going to be able to move closer though to catch him out. Just scaring Na'Vi off and showing them that at this point it is going to be very hard for Na'Vi to break the base.
Well, for now, Complexity, they continue to hold on, and that's the most important thing. This is like really, he's out in front here. I think he's trying to bait the hook. I'm really surprised he opted to finish, man. Maybe it's just because of the puck. Yeah, actually it has to be because of the puck.
Oh, look at this complexity. They're not happy with the fact that Na'Vi just tried to go aggressive and they actually smoked up. They want to go for something in return. And here we go with the Walrus punch straight in onto Funnick the Song, setting this one up. Funnick actually using himself to buy himself some time. It's not all with the force stuff. No, it's not enough. They will lose the Earthshaker, but at the same time, complexity did lose the Lina. Lina going down here on the bottom lane to a gank from Seneko and Dendi there, by the looks of it. So, all in all, the trade certainly favoring Na'Vi in the fact that they take down Swindlemelon's Lina.
They pretty much reclaimed the lead that they had earlier from the last couple of engagements, so they find the 3 picks back-to-back. They kill Swindle again. He's not really had the best game. Like, outside of the laning phase, where I think he was doing okay, Dendi was still winning the lane a bit just based on denies and having a bit more CS. Other than that, he's just been dying a whole heck of a lot. Like, he's 1-7 right now. So the fact that the Lina hasn't really been able to have more impact when you're really trying to buy time for that Naga Siren is kind of hurting complexity at this point. But as rough of a game as he's having, you have Z-Freak, who I feel has played definitely very, very well this game, along with Fly and Moon. I think those are the guys who have kind of shined for me. And just making sure that they can continually force aggression and make sure that Ziz has that space to function. But as time goes on, we talk about it all the time, Ziz, he's making his way towards his next item. He's already up to 2,200 gold after having finished the Manta style. And they're also out on the map, which says a lot. Like, posturing in Dota is very important, so the fact that Complexity are out here, and they're actually trying to make things happen, as opposed to just everyone sitting in their base but Ziz, it means they'll be able to keep those lanes pushed.
Indeed, still a bit of time before Roshan's back up. How Swindlemelon is doing in terms of farm with the pickoffs that have been happening on him, he's actually falling behind. Well, I said quite a bit. He's actually second lowest on the net worth at the moment, this mid lane Lina. So whereas it's been a pretty good game for Complexity elsewhere, the Lina's certainly been suffering.
It's funny because he's second lowest on net worth, but he has the 3rd highest CS. It's just because he keeps dying. Like, he's just been dying all over the place. Normally, when you have that much CS, you should have a pretty decent amount of net worth. And in reality, Z-Freak is the one who has the 2nd highest net worth on their team, almost comparable to Dendi's farm right now.
I'll tell you what is still pretty impressive, the fact that against a Naga, Havorst is still keeping on top of that farm, and obviously due to the Roshan attempts that Na'Vi have been getting away with as well. The fact that he has involved himself in a fair few of the kills, only found 2 himself, but the 9 assists certainly paying off for this Lycan. But there is certainly going to get to a point of the game where you would imagine that the Naga is going to be easily able to outcarry the Lycan.
Yeah, he's still
quite a way.
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 more items that he's going to need to be able to get to that point. Like, Lycan, as a right-click hero, it takes a very long time for heroes to outscale him, just because like 2 of the abilities that he has outside of his ultimate are just, they buff him. Like, they give him steroids. He gets 50 bonus damage, he gets extra 30 attack speed, and 30% bonus damage on top of that, so he just innately hits very, very hard. By the time Naga Siren gets up to that Octarine, Butterfly, and maybe Diffusal Blade if he wants to go for the aggressive choice, that's when you're going to start seeing Naga come into play. Because she's an illusion-based hero, and Agi carries typically can carry harder than strength carries in most situations. But yeah, it's still a little bit of ways from that. For now, Complexity just trying to do what they can in terms of keeping the lanes out. It's kind of stagnated a bit, but you kind of have to expect this when you're playing against Naga. At some stage, Complexity are going to decide that they don't want to try to fight anymore, because it becomes too risky. And then they're just going to try to put Ziz in the pilot seat and just be like, okay, you need to actually just keep us in the game by pushing.
And worth noting as well, Dendi does now have completed Scythe of Vice. At the same time, the Artstyles managed to find himself the completed Guardian Greaves as well. So a couple of massive items coming out on the side of Na'Vi. Z3 with his Shadow Blade leading in. Pings are coming out here onto Artstyle. They might be able to find this pickup. There is backup from the side of Na'Vi. Z3, what's he going to go for here? He's looking for the dial. The ping's coming out.
I don't know if he can kill him.
He's walking quite a far. He's going away from the back here, and Artstyle. He's going to get the Shallow Grave off. But he is all alone. Na'Vi are now coming in. But, oh, there we go. With the Echo Slam on 2. Artstyle lives with the Guardian Greaves. He's going to be okay. Moon now popping the mech. Funny is the one that's going to be caught out here. At the same time, Freak does find Artstyle, gets himself the gem as well. They're able to kill Funnick. Now, Havor's going in, takes down the Naga. Swindlemelon's falling as well on the Lina. And now the chase is going to begin. Havor's looking for more potentially. Fly will team himself out from the base. Freak actually managing to get the kill onto Dendi. And Z3 now will throw down the ice shards and get himself out. But, well, 3 for 2 there. Complexity do lose both of their cores. RV2 supports and the Dendi puck from the mid lane.
Z-Freak is a beast, dude. Like, he's just all over these team fights. They initiate onto art style. He kind of walks it off, you know, he graves himself, pops the greaves, walks away. Then he reinitiates, takes the gem, and then kills Dendi when no one else on his team is even in the area. Like, his awareness in the team fights is stellar. Like, the way that he's playing this game, he's probably, at least for right now, my MVP for Complexity.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about teams when they run the Naga, they need someone that's going to keep the action going and keep the kind of just the attention drawn away from the Naga Siren. And Zafreet certainly is that. I mean, that fight they did lose the Naga, but still overall, Naga was able to pick up the Reaver now and 700 gold on top of it. And Zafreet, you know, he is as stacked as a Tusk would be. 40 minutes in, Desolator, BKB, Blink Dagger, Shadow Blade is looking very good for the Tusk.
He can pretty much just... I don't know if he can straight up kill the supports, but he can come close. Like, Seneko has Solar Crest, so he's got quite a bit of armor, and then Guardian Greaves up on art style means he also has like 14 armor right now. But he's been incredibly disruptive during every single engagement, especially the fight bottom, where he managed to basically kill both of the supports by his own play. Like, when you have impact like that as a Tusk, it just shows how powerful the hero can really be, and utilizing Snowball to hit multiple targets with the stun to try to ensure that you can get heroes down before they're able to cast spells. So big shout out to him. But now Roshan being attempted here by Na'Vi. Ziz is not nearby. I do not think Complexity can do much about this outside of send a Sigilant for some free gold.
I mean, yeah, the rate of Voice is doing it. Fish is going to get thrown up there.
Blocked.
It's all going to be Zafreet going for Artstyle. Artstyle here with the Grunwald Cape. Going to buy him some time, and he's going to be able to get himself out with the Shallow Grave. Roshan's already been taken down now. It's going to be Horse looking for Mumianda. The song comes out, though. Zizzy trying to save his team. Will allow Fly to TP himself out. Denny's going to still be there now with the Yules controlling Mumianda. Seneko from the high ground as well. Pipe has come out from the Undying, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive. Will go down at the same time, though. The action's just happening all over here. Phonic nearly getting himself caught, but the Light Strike Array is able to force Staff out of it. And overall, it does just end up being the 1-for-1 art style dropping for the Mumianda Undying.
Now, the funny part about that trade is it still ends up being a 1-for-1, even though there were pretty much every single ability was exchanged. I guess Coil and Echo are still up from Na'Vi, but Complexity, they pop the song again. Not too long of a cooldown, so I'm sure they'll be fine with it. The big part is getting up Aegis and Cheese on Dendi, because now he can just be in the fight for as long as he wants. And the Lycan is getting to a stage where he's so tanky, like 2,500 health, 30 armor.
Seneko has a refresher.
He's so rich. Okay, Na'Vi have some kind of way of just making creeps spawn on the map. Like, I'm convinced. How does he have this much CS? Like, he has as much CS as Dendi. Echo Snap.
Indeed, Swindle Melons. It's not been a pretty game for the Lina. 9 deaths now on the Lina.
He's had the same items for 20 minutes, man. Like, that's rough.
It's certainly, but he's the space creator. He's creating the space, but there's only so much space creating you can do before it starts to hurt, and it's certainly going to be hurting Lina at this point again. 26 to 17. Let's have a look at the graphs, how they kind of swung around. It's been up and down. We, of course, saw that dip where Complexity were able to regain quite a bit of control. And it was given away. They regained a little bit, but now still hovering back in Na'Vi's advantage. But 43 minutes in, 8,000. There's definitely the potential still for Complexity to swing this one back round, but they're going to need to have some kind of spectacular defense. We've seen them do it pretty much twice before. In fact, every time that Na'Vi have tried to break the high ground, the defense has been there from Complexity. 20 seconds still until Swindlewellers is back up. But other than the Lina, they've got all the ultimates available and ready to use. Tombstone's going to get dropped now. They have lost the range racks. Range racks, of course, not the end of the world here. It's the melee racks that we're going to be looking for at this point of the game. And Na'Vi, after that, they're going to head towards the mid lane. They're going to look to take another tier 3. Fortification comes out from Complexity. And what are they going to do to stop this? Of course, he's not scared. He's going up there with the AC as well. The damage, the speed at which these structures fall. Pretty disgusting. And here we go. Swindlemelon's going on to Vorce. They catch him out. Has managed to get the BKB off now with the neck. They kill him before the BKB. Now comes the BKB. Cold Embrace is going to top him back up. Dreamcoat from Dendi, though, catching 3. 4, in fact. Dendi getting low. Will be able to orb himself out of the fight. No one has died yet. Now Zizzy trying to chase down with Tom. Will catch Dendi. Dendi, the only one to be caught so far. Seneko is caught on the sidelines. They've caught Artstyle here as well. Who are they going to look for? Dendi is going to be able to draw this one out. There we go, though. Artstyle falls. Dendi gets himself out with the Blink Dagger. Zafreet chasing this down. And what the snowball? He goes in. There we go with the Walrus Punch on the creep, because why the hell not? Dendi getting caught out here by the Yule Scepter. He's trying to get himself out. Has this Aegis, of course. What's he going to be able to do after this? It's going to be hard for him to escape this one. And he's got the phase shift. He's going to be able to get that blink off. Here we go. Yes, he does now with the orb. Can he get himself out? No, the first one. Yes, he can still jaunt to it. He's going to be fine. No, he's not. Soul Rip there from Moon Meander. Shuts down a puck. They took their time with that. But again, Complexity defend the base.
Yeah, they lost the range racks, but, you know, not a big deal. And it was in the bottom lane, too. So, I mean, they're getting the tier 3s down, but Na'Vi just aren't really able to deal a substantial blow to Complexity's base. They're not able to get like a melee racks and have that lane consistently pushing in. Sure, bottom, it's going to push because he's got those super range creeps going, but it's not enough. Like, Naga Siren still can counteract that with ease, especially considering Ziz went for Heart. So the thing about Heart versus having the Octarine is that, sure, you'll be able to use your illusions more frequently, but Heart makes them infinitely more tanky because... yeah,
it's a good job that that cooldown on Song was available because Funnick and Havors down the neighborhood. He has now the ability to TP. It was actually on cooldown for the majority of that. Funnick throws out the Fisher. He isn't going to get Zizzy, but Funnick looking forward here with a full... Oh, he's actually gone for the old walk around the Fisher here, and Zizzy might just get himself out of this one. Havors unable to chase it down. In fact, the fight kind of going on here is a freak. Moon Meander did try to go onto the Seneko Winter Wyvern. Blinking forward as well as Zephyr. This is a man, so he's just going straight in. Seneko cold embracing and walking it off. You got to be careful when you're in the neighborhood of this Tusk because he is pretty terrifying at this point. Third on the net worth.
He punches really hard. Like, you don't want to... The thing about Tusk is, even in the later stages of the game, if he's played as a support, he still does a respectable amount of damage. And even if you have BKB, the Walrus Punch still hurts. So you always have to respect that hero like every stage. And Frozen Sigil is maybe one of the best utility kind of spells that you can have against BKB carriers like Lycan, because it still slows attack speed even if you're in shapeshift form. So very, very good hero in my opinion. But for no Complexity, they've got map control at least for a little while. They're invading Navia's Woods at the moment. They're trying to keep the lane pushed. Obviously, mid is the only one that's really not going their way at this point, but all they have to do is send out one hero, and it shouldn't really be too big of a deal. The other thing is, this is very quickly becoming more even about how much farm the supports have than just the cores. Because we were talking about Seneko and him having a refresher and fly. He's got BKB and almost Aghanims. Like, that CM ulti is going to be an issue.
It's going to be pretty damn terrifying. I guess with the fact, though, that they do have the refresher on Seneko, in this kind of situation, especially when the Ags is done, you have one to afford that you would probably want to be thrown down to cancel the ultimate.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, games with Naga Siren typically are so reliant on just the Naga alone that sometimes the hero ends up taking too much farm.
This. It's a freak. He's got the intel. He spotted out Havors and Funnick, and the backup from Complexity is going to be coming in the form of this smoke. And here we go with the jump, but it's actually Funnick trying to go onto Zizzy first. Zizzy getting low, but it's the Zizzy bait. There's the backup from Complexity. Here we go. Can they keep the Naga alive? Naga trying to get herself out. She is still alive for this one. Trying to move herself away. Is she going to go down? No. With the ice jaunt, she's keeping herself away now. She's been used up. She's in a lot of trouble. Funnick trying to find it, but no. They're able to kill Funnick before they bring down Zizzy. And Complexity, they're just outplaying Na'Vi. They do go in 5 versus 2, but the fact that they're able to keep the Naga alive, what a bit of team play there from Complexity.
Funnick was mid animation on his enchant totem hit, and he just gets dragon slaved in the face and just ends up falling there. So really, really good for Complexity. They don't have to like buy back on the Naga. The fact that he didn't even die, it just means they can continually push out those lanes. He knows he's safe because the Lycan is dead. Lycan is probably outside of, I guess, Seneko and getting Hex like the biggest threat that he has to worry about. And with that hero off the map, I mean, you can just send Illusion straight down lanes, and now Complexity, they're coming out swinging. They're this tier 2. They're going to deal some damage to the tier 3 top as well.
And this is big. I mean, the Havors down for 40 seconds. He has buyback available. Might need to use it. Notification will be popped. Still 20 seconds until Earthshake is back, and indeed, Havors is going to be buying back for this defense. And it looks like for the time being that is going to spook Complexity out, but they're going to be happy with that, forcing out the Lycan buyback.
It means the next Roshan is, let's see what time. Okay, so we're going to find out if it's a long or a short spawn in probably like 10, 15 seconds or something like that. And once that happens, we'll know if Complexity are going to be able to contest. Because if it's a short spawn, it should be pretty easy for Complexity to take a fight around this pit. Like, they've been showing that even in a deficit, if they're fighting defensively and they have like Z-Freak up and they have Ziz up, they can set up really nice combinations and they're going to fight even if it looks like it's going really badly for them. So maybe Complexity can at the very least stop Na'Vi from doing Roche. And it's been 30 minutes, but Swindle, he's almost got another item.
Everyone just seems so damn stacked in this game. I mean,
except for Swindle.
It is just Swindle.
Look at
in
his items right now.
comparison, yeah.
At 50 minutes,
He's got
this
a lot
is
of
what
money,
he's
though.
got.
He's got a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's back in the moolah. He's got 5.5k to spend.
He's going to go Hex, I think.
But it's looking good. I mean, just Moon, yeah, we are 50 minutes in. And yeah, straight up Hex, as you said, for lead. But Moon just with the Greaves, with the pipe, and what looks to be the workings of potentially a Shiva's guard there for the man.
I mean, it's hilarious because Swindle's only like 3k net worth above a CM. Like at 50 minutes, that's not much, right?
It's only big between Denny's puck as well. I mean, Denny is only 4k ahead. It seems like across the board there's not a huge difference, especially when we look at the game time and we see it is 15 minutes in. But it's certainly going to be interesting to see how this one pans out. Looking at the moment, of course, at the difference, Complexity have actually swung around the gold, so it is now just slightly in their favor. But for the first time this match since about the 14-minute mark, Complexity bringing it back to their side. XP still slightly different, but still nonetheless massive swing rounds here favoring the side of Complexity.
It's impressive. If I looked at this game like 25 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago and saw where Na'Vi were and I saw what they were doing, I'd be like, Na'Vi probably won this game. Right?
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting enough with that, with the armor. I thought it was going to be something like a Shivas or AC. He's going to go for the Lotus Orb here on Undying. And at the same time, that is Fly's completed Aghanims out.
It's really good against
And
Wyvern.
he's got buyback as well this season.
It's really good against Wyvern, and it's really good against Hex.
Hex, talking about the Hex onto Artstar, but Artstar gets himself forced away with the Cold Embrace as well. Going to be okay. Dendy, limit caped up as well. It doesn't look like Na'Vi going to want to jump back into this one as of yet. Zafreak also sitting on the sideline here for Complexity. Fly, oh, he's being caught out here. Can he get around? He can just get himself around. Zizzy here with the song. It looks like it's going to be them just getting the hell out of it, but Fly, he's still going to go down. They were able to take him out on the edge of the song. Zizzy was not moving south enough to cover the team of Na'Vi, and the song, as well, it does save the rest of the team, but it doesn't save Fly.
Yeah, he was running away, I think, because he assumed if his song ended that he might be in trouble. So they end up just killing Fly for it, but he's going to buy back.
Go straight back in, indeed. Denny getting low, but the shallow grave and the 4-star, and suddenly the cheese is eaten. Denny back to full strength. Swindlemelon is getting blown up here by an Echo Slam from Funnick. Now, what can Zafreak do to turn this one around? He's punching up a Force, but a Force just punches straight back. Dendy blinking forward. The Tusk getting low. The Lotus Orb has been cast down to him by Moomiander, but it doesn't matter now with the Winter's Curse onto Moon. Na'Vi looking for more. Her Force chasing down the damage. It just seems to be too much, but now Fly, here we go. But the Winter's Curse is being refreshed. Soneko going out with the second Winter's Curse, cancelling the ultimate. Fly getting low. A Forced as well, but the shallow grave is there, and they're going to continue to fight toward Na'Vi. They're taking down Fly. That's a dieback. A Forced is incredibly low. Will get bursted down here by Moomiander. Soneko trying to get himself out. ZZ, Moomi, and Zafreak trying to clean up to the high ground. It doesn't matter. They'll lose the Earthshaker Na'Vi, and it is 3 heroes down the moment on Na'Vi. Now the Illusion is chasing down Soneko. He's going to pop the Arctic Burn here to get that free buffing up to the high ground. But suddenly, there's a fair few heroes dead. Havorst is off the map. 90 seconds. Buyback is still on cooldown. This is massive for the side of Complexity. Also, the Dal for Na'Vi, he's dead. 300 gold short. Funnick will buy back. The question is, can they defend against this? Complexity don't have the CM and the Lina, but they do still have the Naga Siren here for this push, if they want to go for it.
That fight actually lasted so long that Radiance Burn ended up almost like killing Soneko and Artstyle from like 100%. Of course, there were a couple of Riptides and AoE spells thrown out, but just the amount of AoE damage that they took because of the duration of the fight just made it too difficult for them to finish things out. And when Ziz is at full health and the fight is almost over, you know you got a problem, because now he's got Butterfly and he has Heart on top of the Radiance and the Manta Style. So,
and it looks like they're going to give him the Aegis here as well.
Yeah, I think if he gets this Aegis,
is massive.
Killing him is actually becoming extremely difficult.
Killing him twice?
Probably not impossible, but you're gonna have
give it
to.
Tusk. Okay.
You're gonna have to take a really good fight. Oh, cheese.
Okay. Cheese is just as good. I mean, you're never going to be bursting down Zizzy to the point where he's not going to get the chance to get the cheese off.
Yeah. Unless he gets like hexed and cursed or something like that.
Yeah.
That would be the way that you kill him now. But now Na'Vi are running into this issue where their damage type is not really good enough to kill the Naga. You're not going to kill a Naga with magical damage like most of the time. So you need some kind of like right-click DPS. And because of the fact that Lycan, he's going for the Abyssal, he does not have MKB. That means that if he tries to man-fight the Naga Siren, you're just not really going to do that much. Like, Ziz still has 23 armor and 35% evasion because of the Butterfly. So Na'Vi are going to have to dump like the kitchen sink on that here to kill him.
It's getting to the point now as well where Vorst is pretty much capping out here on the Lycan. Level 25 has picked up the Abyssal Blade. So these fights are going to be very important for Na'Vi to see if they can swing it back around, because still it is just only slightly though hovering around Complexity, but it's just the fact that Na'Vi did have that advantage for the majority of the game, and Complexity now in a much more comfortable of a position.
Yeah, Na'Vi just weren't able to really do any super high levels of damage. Like, they kill the range racks, and that's it. Like, you need to do more. With Lycan on the team at 25 minutes, 30 minutes, that's why I was saying it's not about how much farm you have, it's what you have relative to the enemy. Because at that point in the game, the Naga Siren didn't have the health to be able to stand in a fight like Ziz is doing right now. The dynamic of how the hero is being played has changed completely because he realizes that he's tanky enough to just live through whatever is thrown at him, as long as his team's there. I mean, so now, it's Na'Vi are behind, and the net worth graph isn't really indicative of how behind they actually are, because of the style that they can adopt now. Like, how they can play the game is a lot more lax than how it was earlier, where they were worried about the Lycan just annihilating their base because they lost all their outer tier tower and a Roshan. So at this stage, Na'Vi are... they're not, like, super far behind, but they're pretty far behind.
And it seems to be working as well with Zizzy's build. The fact that a lot of Nagas we're seeing at the moment in this pack do like to optimize the Octarine pickup. We're not seeing that at all here from Zizzy. Why do you think that's the choice? Is it because he's finding himself more as a fighter rather than a split pusher?
Well, if you have Octarine, you yourself, you are more tanky, but the illusions don't gain any benefit from having the Octarine. The only thing that you're gaining...
they get the lifesteal from the Radiance.
Yeah, but their HP pool stays the same, pretty much, because you don't actually gain health on illusions by having plus flat health. You need stats. So the heart makes the illusions tanky, and Dendi, he's got a taster in here. Just gonna get hexed up by Swindle, and he'll just, I guess, hop it off, because he was a pig there for a second. But yeah, I think the heart ended up working out very well, because the illusions were tanky enough to the point where normally if you have Octarine and you have like Yasha, Bots, Radiance, it's a pretty standard progression, that your illusions still die very easily. It's just that you can make them more frequently. But he wanted his illusions to be tanky because he was constantly getting pushed in, and he knew that he would need his illusions to be able to at least hurt Na'Vi before they died. Because at some point he had to throw his illusions down the lane that Na'Vi were in to slow the pace, right? So I think that the heart pickup actually worked out a bit better for him than if he had gone straight for an Octarine. The issue that Na'Vi have now is that he's going to have both. So he's going to have heart and Octarine as soon as he uses the cheese. And now it's just like, this is Naga's team to lose now.
Certainly, it's pretty much going to be, if they catch Zizzy out, you know, he makes a mistake, he makes a misplacement, and Na'Vi are able to take him down. But they've got to do it twice as well. Of course, buyback well and truly available with that very, very tasty 6.7k gold in his bank. Na'Vi have got quite a mountain to climb if they wish to take this victory. Vorsted just popping the ultimate to get himself away. As well, mid lane, a bit of a fight kicking off Zafri. Just going and going back out. Well, he's trying to. Na'Vi going to chase this one down. Zafri might have bit off a bit more than he could shoot, but he has got this Aegis, the backup coming from the rest of Complexity. Are they going to look to try and turn this one? Well, it's going to be actually the Tusk himself up to the high ground. Horse turns his attention to Moon. Moon pops the piper now with the song. Oh, can they turn this around? Let's see what they can do here, Complexity. Who are they going to go and fly? Has got the ultimate and the BKB available for the... we go, he's not going to pop it as of yet, but it's going to be Zafri. And in place by the Yules, the net thrown down onto a Horse, but the Blink find himself done now. There we go with the Windless Curse onto Moon, controlling the Dream Collar has been dropped as well. A Horse is falling low though here, and Zafri chasing down Taneko. There's the second Winter's Curse onto Fly. Zafri going to turn to Fly. They kill Crystal Maiden. That's the first casualty of this fight. Dendi getting low with the Rush Punch holding him in place. The Artstar, he managed to get off the Shallow Grave. Artstar will lose his life. Dendi, can he get himself out? No, the Snowball's going to stun him. They will kill Dendi here as well, making it a 2-for-1 here in the mid lane. And now at the back of that, Zizzy just looking to push. Dendi has got a buyback available. Artstar will buy back now. Dendi's still holding on to his. Taneko doing his best event, but of course both of the Winter's Curses are down. There's no Echo Slam, there's no Dream Coil. TP coming straight in from Dendi, in fact, wanting to get this fight going. And here we go. Swindleman is actually using the defensive Yules here for round 2, but he's going to get hexed up now. Havors going in with the BKB, bringing Swindleman as though the Fisher will finish him off. Zizzy now with the second Song of the Siren. Will buy enough time potentially for the Moon Meander to get out. Yes, he will escape as well. They did lose Snow Melons there on the Lina, and of course, Glide dying earlier there, as they did use the curse on him. So Na'Vi did have to buy back twice there to form that defense, and again, is looking very nice for Complexity.
Yeah, I'm really impressed the way that Complexity are taking his team fights. Like, Freak at first, he kind of went a little ham, you know. He goes in, he loses his Aegis, but his team was there to back him up after the fact.
It was the play. Yeah.
The double curse from Seneca was actually great, because the second one hit 4 heroes, right? And they killed Fly. Like, they just beat him to death. So even with those curses, they still can't really win the team fight, and they were forced to use buybacks. So Complexity, still in a very good spot. Dendi, art style, and I believe Havos buyback. Okay, no, his buyback's back up.
It was just, yeah, art style and Dendi.
Yeah, but he did buyback, I think, earlier, right?
He did. There was a period by.
Yeah, but his buyback's back off cooldown now, so he's also got 4,300 gold to his name, so he will be more than fine. But Ziz, he's opted out of the Octarine entirely. He just wants to go for the fighting Naga.
Okay, with the Fusel. All right.
I mean, he could be of the mind that he doesn't really need the Octarine for more illusions, because when they get to the base, having the Diffusal Blade means that you are actually stronger in that particular fight, whereas having an Octarine just allows you to be more of a nuisance and keep the lanes pushed in a little bit harder. But if you look at the map, right now, the lanes are pushed in favor of Na'Vi, but that's just because Complexity were sitting outside of their base for a while, and they were taking a team fight. So when that happens, you have a tendency to kind of ignore the creep equilibrium, and then that's when the lanes start to get pushed out in Na'Vi's favor. But now that Complexity are back, and they're not taking a team fight, those lanes are just going to get shoved right back in.
Absolutely, but still 60 minutes in. This is a game that, as a Naga Siren, you're going to be very, very happy with. It's getting harder and harder for Na'Vi, but Na'Vi, you know, they were able to hold the side of Complexity off the base. They did lose a tier 3 on the bottom lane, but still, their sets of racks remaining intact. Complexity actually smoked up here, wondering if we might chance it leave the base, but I think we're almost certainly getting to a point where Na'Vi are going to think very carefully before they make any kind of movement outside of their high ground.
They need some kind of vision. Like, the only vision they have right now is the very standard high ground ward outside of their base, which is about to fade, actually. But when you're smoking at this stage in the game, if you can't get yourself some kind of vision first, it becomes extremely difficult to make a smoke and have it work. The only good way to do it, if you're not going to have any vision, is knowing Roshan's up. And Roshan is not up yet. And it could be in anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes, depending on what kind of spawn we get. So Complexity, they're forcing the issue. They say, hey, Roshan's going to be up soon. We want to push in Na'Vi so that by the time Roshan is up, we can either fall back and take it ourselves, or we can just like force it so hard that Na'Vi aren't going to be able to get there in time. And Vos Wolf is going to actually be pulled back. I hope that's not a miss, Micro, because I think he would have actually seen Roshan spawn with that. It's very good information to have at this point.
Certainly is.
Oh, never mind. It died anyway. Okay, so it wasn't going to last long enough, because Roshan's up in like 5 seconds, 10 seconds.
And Zizzy at this point, of course, just keeping all these lanes pressured and pushed into the base. Na'Vi still on the high ground here. Being very careful about coming out. Artstyle. He's making a chance for it here, but this ward's going to spawn him out. And Artstyle caught in a bit of no man's land here. Has got the shallow grave and getting 4-star back here. They're trying to chase it down with the Guardian Fuse, though. They're going to be able to top him back up. The fight kicking off. There's a free going straight in. Look at the point, but he's going to be Winter's Curse, holding him in place. Now with the Echo Slam, Zafri getting low. Forced as well, trying to work through it all with BKB. Zafri is going to be held alive, though. ZZ popping the Song of the Siren, keeping him up. No one dead as of now. He's in trouble, netted up. Won't be able to get himself out now. That is Dendi. There's a die back down for 2 minutes. The rest of Na'Vi just getting themselves back to the fountain here without the puck. And we can see, indeed, of course, still 2 minutes, 40 seconds before Dendi will be able to bite back. This is pretty major here for the side of Na'Vi. They're going to lose the bottom set of racks, and it looks like they may lose more as well. Complexity going for the mid lane. What can Na'Vi do here? They've already used Echo Slam. They do have one Winter's Curse left available here, but it's going to have to be a big one if they want to hold on to this game, because it's looking a bit rocky now after that fight.
I don't think there's any reason for Complexity to push the same lane, though. If you see what they're doing, they know that Winter's Curse is probably up. I'm sure Swindle saw the refresher use, and okay, he's got another curse. But they don't have to sit in the same spot.
Oh, Swindle with a Hex here onto Vorce. The Freak moving forward as well. Now there's your second curse. Will be able to bring down. No, he's still alive. He's going to be fine with the Soul Rip. Vorce is going to potentially lose his life. He also himself up. Vorce trying to do what he can with the net. Holding in place through the Magic Immunity. Cold Embrace comes out just in time. There's going to be a buyback from Funny Bell. Vorce getting low. He's going to go down. He'll buy back as well. Now 2 heroes permanently down there on the side of Na'Vi. Artstyle and Dendi can't return. And they've lost the mid set of racks now. And they've lost the top set. It's going to be Mega Cruise and GG. Well played. It's cool. Complexity take game 1 against Na'Vi, and I've got to say, I'm nothing less than impressed by what we've seen here from the Americans.
Watching this game, Na'Vi, they had such an advantage at like 25 to 30 minutes. They're going high ground. They killed the tier 3. It seemed like nothing Complexity could do would be enough to stop them. And then that one song coming out from Ziz. And then Z-Freak with an amazing snowball. He